In this episode, I wanted to take a moment and talk a bit about goal setting. This goes with really doing anything new. You want to figure out what your writing routine is. When you're getting ready for bed, you have your bedtime routine. You're going to wash your face, brush your teeth, get into pajamas, take a shower, whatever it is. When you wake up in the morning, maybe the first thing you do is, you grab some breakfast and make a cup of coffee and go about your day from there. Maybe, you're one of those really cool people that wakes up and they go and do a workout in the morning. Or maybe you do it in the evening and you do your workout routine in the evening. The most important thing with any routine is that it fits into the type of person you are. So, for example, I'm learning this actually. I'm more typically a morning person. If I want to be productive, I've got to get up, get going in the morning, get going on my day. And if I wait until the evening to get started on those things, it typically doesn't happen. I kind of hit 7 o'clock and I'm burned out and I don't want to do anything. And so if I'm trying to write then or trying to be productive at that time, it just doesn't happen. I'm a lot more productive at 7 a.m. than 7 p.m. So I need to be mindful of that when I'm making my schedule, my writing schedule. The most important aspect of choosing when you're going to write is knowing you. What's going to work for you. When you're setting your goals, make sure you're setting them in a way that they're achievable. I have tried since I started my book, I've tried to get 500 words a day done. 500 words doesn't seem like a lot. It's like maybe a page worth of writing, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember how many fit on a page because I stopped trying to think that way. I stopped trying to think in terms of I'm going to write this many words in a day. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a screen share and show you a bit of my process and how I write. For me, I found it a lot better to focus not on the word count or the amount of time I'm spending, but instead I focus on, all right, I'm going to start working on this scene, or I'm going to start working on this character background, or this isn't very clear in my head yet, and I want to make sure that's clear for me, either because I'm going to put it in the book for readers, or I just need to understand, kind of that meta perspective of the world I'm building, or the characters, or the cultural background, or whatever it is. And so that's what I'm going to put my time into that day, and not worry so much about word count or time spent, because really most of the time I'm not spending more than 20 or 30 minutes in a single session of writing. So that attainable goal for me is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to either start this scene or I'm going to finish it if I got halfway through it, or I'm going to edit it. But that's my goal for that writing session. And however far I get into it, I say, all right, that's what I got done. Good. So, figuring out, you can raise the bar if you feel like you're not pushing yourself. But if you feel like you're not meeting that goal consistently, then drop that bar a bit. That's okay. Consistency, that routine is more important than, the amount that's done in that time. If you write 10 words a day, eventually you'll get your book finished. But if you set the goal of writing 500 and you look at your day and you're like, there's no way I can get that done, it's more likely that you won't sit down and write at all. Where if you have that goal to sit down and write 10 words, at the very least you can get that done. Consistency in where you write, the time that you write, those steps that you take to prepare to write. When I first started writing my book, I tried to write everywhere. If I had my phone, I'd be like, I'm going to write on my phone. Then I'd be at work with my work computer. I'm like, I'm going to write there. And then I'm going to be at home with my home computer and I'm going to write there. And so I was jumping devices and it caused so many issues. And part of that was just that routine that wasn't being established. Again, my kids will come and ask for things or want to talk to me or have me read a book or ask me what I'm doing. Kids have a lot of questions, so they often pull me away from that. One of the reasons why I'm going to show you Novelpad in a moment, the program I'm using, is it is dedicated to writing. It is the only thing I do on there is I'm writing this book. I'm less likely to get distracted by other things, where if I jump into Google Docs where I was writing, I'd have work stuff in there. I would have, other book ideas. I would have our budget in there. I would have all these things, just random documents from school and just, there I've got, the past 10 years of my life in there. So, even just navigating to the books, I'd see all these other things, and sometimes that would pull my attention away, and I wouldn't be as focused on the writing. Novelpad, I click the button, it opens up, and it's right there, and I'm focused. And it has cues to where I can see that the scenes that I'm working on or have worked on. I can, it gets my brain moving into the right space. So make sure that you create that in that routine, in that environment, because that's going to be really beneficial. Again, I'm not consistent with it. I'm not good at this, but honestly, like since I started doing these videos, I have noticed a difference in my writing, in my commitment to it. It doesn't feel as much of a drag. So this is starting to become part of my routine. It's going to be checking in and just having that mindset of, okay, I've got to make a video about my writing. I got to make sure I'm writing so I have something to post a video about. So let's dive into Novelpad, and I'll show you my goal page there. I've only been using it for a couple weeks, so it's not very complete, but let's take a look at that. All right, welcome to Novelpad. So this is the goal page of Novelpad. Now it has a few other pages that we can look at, but we're going to look at them at a different time. This episode's about goals, and so that's what we're going to be focusing on. There are a few features that I've liked in Novelpad that I've decided to move my work over to here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in other videos, but this page right here that we're looking at is one of the main reasons why I switched to Novelpad. I really like this goal page. Right now I'm at 27,000 words. My goal is to get to 80,000. I actually just learned now, playing with it some more, that I can set a total goal. Now here in this section, I can set my writing schedule, so I can adjust it to be a day where I don't write. I just write a little bit. I write a normal amount, or I write a lot. Right now I don't have any days that I were to write a lot, because writing a normal amount is enough for me. So I'm going to come down to here in April. That's when I actually started getting the app, was April. I actually got it the 31st, but the first day I wrote in it was the 1st. I wrote Saturday, and then I wrote 3 days this week, 2 days the week before that. So far 2 days this week, and I'll probably have 2 more this week that I'll be able to write later today, and then probably some more on Friday. The reason I like this, again, finding that routine that works for you, so I can change my weekly writing schedule. What I really like about it is, I can scroll down and say, okay, these are how many words I need to write if I'm hitting that 400 word goal. Now, again, I just learned I can do total words, and I like that a little bit more. So right now what I'm shooting for my book is about 80,000 words. It'll probably be a little bit more. It may be a little bit less. We'll see where I get to, but 80,000 is probably pretty accurate. So actually, if I plug that in, I looking at this progress tracker at the top, it shows I'm actually on track, which is cool. That's kind of exciting to see. And then coming down here, now I can see exactly how much I need to write each day. Today, I only need to get 179 words written for me to meet that daily goal in order to meet that total goal. And looking back, if we averaged out these days, I'm not going to do the math, but I'm going to guess it actually averages out to be around 300 to 400 words a day. So that's cool. That's exciting for me to see. Going back to what we were talking about before, about creating those achievable goals, creating that routine, I like this because I'm able to see what my routine is, what days I'm writing consistently, what days I'm not. This first full week of April, I was out of town for a couple days, so that affected my writing schedule. But I'm able to put all these things in there and begin to see a trend. So, next month, I'm going to be able to look at April and see where I did well, see where I didn't do well. So that's going to help me stay on track for my goal of getting to around 80,000 words by the end of the year. That's my overall goal, my higher goal, beyond just this daily goal. This daily goal gets me there, but the overall goal is to say, my first book is more or less finished. One thing I want to say about setting routines and goal setting is to make sure that you're really passionate about your book. One of the things that keeps me coming back to working on my book is that I want to read it. I want to read my book more than I want to read other people's books. So it's actually made reading other people's books really difficult, because I just want to read mine. I want to know what my characters are doing and where the story's going to go, because while I have an idea of where it's going, that's still developing. And what I started with 2 years ago is not what I have now. So make sure you have that peace. Make sure you have that passion that you want your story out there, even if nobody else does. Don't come into writing thinking, this is how I'm going to make my millions. You may luck into that. You more likely will not. but write that story because you want it out there, because you have something to say that nobody else does. You're going to create something awesome if you have that perspective. So we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.